Kalu Aja, financial analyst, joins me right now as we proceed with our interview. He joins me live from the United States of America. Hello, Kalu, and thank you for joining us again. Thank you for your sacrifice this morning. I know it's very early in the morning over there where you are. You should be sleeping right now, so thank you very much. Kalu, let's.
Hey, Nancy, how you doing?
I'm well. I'm in a great place, according to a friend of mine that taught me that. Let's get started, Kalu. Just a few hours to when the presidential campaigns will begin. We have about 5 months to the general elections. I want to ask you this question, which is how significant, how important is 2023 elections in the history for Nigeria?
Yeah, great question, Nancy. And simple answer, it's going to be transformative. This is going to be the real transformative election in Nigeria. If you look at our demographics, very, very young population. The bulk of Nigerian population really have never been in a country with 24-hour power or been in a country where the currency is so strong that they can go on a holiday abroad anytime they choose. So this election is about the economy. This is going to be the real economic election. Who are you going to vote for? Is going to take it from where you are to middle class? Who is going to create jobs for you? Who is going to do better for you in 4-8 years than where you are right now? That's what 2023 is really all about. No jokes. Yeah.
Do you think that Nigerians at this time are more intelligent in their pains and their groanings that we need to fix we need to fix Nigeria, and the chance to do that will be 2023? Do you think that, as painful as it is, because almost all Nigerians are feeling it, I even say even the big men are also feeling this economic pain, as it were, but do you think that Nigerians will be more intelligent in this pain to ask for an issue-based campaign and to really select the right leader at this time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's two things going on in Nigeria right now. Number one is social media. So you can get issues across to a wider audience. That's the first thing going on. The second thing is that you have a candidate that is basically gone on issues. So a particular candidate has said, I'm going to do issues and I'm going to hold the feet of the other guys to the fire. So normally in Nigeria, we have, you go eat corn, you wear face caps, you wear a t-shirt, and you do an election rallies and all that. You know, so that's not going on right now. People are asking questions because the pain is apparent. Let me give you a data point. This year, 2022, has been the worst year in terms of macroeconomics for Nigeria since Nigeria was created. Just look at the statement by the Ministry of Finance that the revenues that we make can't service the debt that we have. We've never said that before, right? So people see what's going on. Inflation is double digit. Dollar is 7.15, depending on who you go talk to. People want answers. They don't just want, I will create jobs, I'll make $1, 1 naira. They want to say how, like you said, how will you do it? There's going to be the, no, give me money and I'll vote for you. But I think there's a greater consciousness now because of social media. You can go online and check and see this country is doing this, why can't I have it? Also with COVID. So we've had this, data is readily available today. So people are asking questions. That's also what's going on.
Because I also see some political parties that have come forward to say, oh, social media, people don't vote on social media, that the social media campaign that is going on does not matter because the people that really vote are not on social media. So if we take their words for it, and if you take a look at even history, you see that a lot of people vote in the rural areas and all of that. But let me ask you two questions from the background which I've just said now. Do you see the crew on social media coming out now to vote? That's number one. Then number two, the rural voters or even people that have voted historically in Nigeria, how conscious do you think they will be at this time? Intelligent voting or intelligence playing out in when these front runners come out to campaign to them, that they're asking the right questions and not just who is giving them 1,000 naira or who is giving them a bag of rice to vote? Will they say, I will collect your bag of rice, I will collect your money, but I will vote my conscience?
Yeah, you see, it's really about information. Even before there was social media, remember how people used to go get information, the radio. People will go to readers' corners, and you see people talking, saying this person did this person has a factory in Switzerland, this one will do this. This social media really is just information. It's not that the people have changed, but if you say something good today, it can be broadcast to more people. That's what social media is. So if you have a good candidate, he can leverage social media. Obama, even in America, he used social media. He basically did that targeting, specific targeting, and then telling you what he's going to do for you, right? It's not just saying hope, but saying hope to more people. That's what social media is going to bring to this race, that more people will hear about what someone will do for you. Now, let's talk about the rural voters. If you saw the last election, I saw on news, a lady rejected money given to her on the polling booth because she figured out, if I take this money today, it's gonna run in about 2 weeks and I'm back to where I am. There's more consciousness now. People are linking elected officials with the quality of services in their community. There's now a social contract being built. And this is where the politicians now realize. I've seen the governor of Edo State talk about it. People are linking, if I vote right, my economy is better. Especially as what we've seen now. People just took someone's word for it in 2015 and voted, and it hasn't really turned out that well. So it's a bit of introspection now and saying, I'm going to take my time this time and listen, then I'm going to vote.
Now, prior to when President Buhari was elected, he campaigned on 3 anchors: corruption, economy, and security. Of course, Nigerians will give him his report card, even as he just has about a few months to go. What do you think will drive this campaign, the campaigns that are starting in just a few hours? Is it just one issue, or is it a potpourri of issues for you?
I think those 3 things that Buhari campaigned on are really going to be the main drivers. Nigeria really right now is taken over by bandits, and it really won't be a problem. We've always had armed robbers. The problem with banditry is that it's affecting food prices, which is affecting everyone, even the guys that live in Lagos that are insulated from what's happening up north. So the economy is going to be number one. People are quote unquote Japan because the middle class in Nigeria has collapsed. There's no middle class again. So the economy is number one. Corruption tied into that is number 2. Security, the same issues that were not solved from 2015 are going to be the same issues today. So people are now saying the issues are correct, but the person that we selected back then didn't do a good job. Let's try someone else. I think it's going to be a wave election, not just in Nigeria. You see what's happening. You see Kenya, now you saw Italy, you've seen UK. This is a wave happening. People are like asking more questions, just a Nigerian thing. So there's going to be a change, whether you like it or not, there's going to be a big change. This election is not like the other ones. Look at the rallies we're still around the place, right? It hasn't happened before. This is not, elections haven't started and we're seeing rallies. There's so much excitement in the air. Young people talking, asking questions, voting. So if you think it's going to be the same, you're going to be swept away by the storm coming.
Okay, let me interrogate a few things which you've said. And let me start with what you said about the wave we've seen, at least across Kenya. William Ruto have been elected, he's been sworn in. And in fact, the interesting thing which you brought up also is Italy. Italy has, I think, a new prime minister now, the first ever female prime minister. I think her name is Meloni.
Yeah.
So yes, Meloni. Yeah. So if you take a look at these waves that are happening across the world, why do you think that wave will also sweep across Nigeria at this time?
Yeah, because what has happened is basically the politics of personalities. People identify an issue and then stay on that issue, and they speak to the electorate what they want to hear. So look at Italy. She's talking about, border, immigration, the economy. That's what's worrying them. It's not, you can't speak in generalities. You have to speak in specifics to the voters. That's what happened in Kenya, Italy, America, UK, Hungary, Israel. Same thing is happening right now in Nigeria. If you look at it, I say there are three main parties or three main individuals. Look at what they're saying. Two are saying the exact same thing. We will create a fund, we will create jobs, we will do power. One is saying, I want to dismantle, I want to change the mindset. That's why it's catching on. It's not, I want to build a road. Look at all three messages. Someone is saying something else, and someone is saying, listen, we have to just change the entire narrative and start afresh. What we're doing is not working. So someone wants to make the road better. Someone is saying the road is going nowhere. Let's change direction completely, build a brand new road and go on that road. That's what the youth want to see. The youth haven't voted in Nigeria before. They're going to vote now. When I mean before, in the numbers and the enthusiasm that they should be voting. We're going to see a youth vote now. So all the models are off. The youth will vote this time, and then we'll see what will happen.
Now, Kalu, let's zero into the front runners, and the media has always been talked about that. We always zero in on the front runners. I think we have 18 presidential candidates. Is it 18 or 16? However, but that we zero in on, like, we have 3 top runners now, or if you add Rabiu Kwankwaso of the NNPP, 4. Let's take a look at those front runners. And I know that a few times we've tried to debate it even online, and taking a look at the manifestos of these candidates. Let's zero in now. Let's talk about the candidate of the PDP. In fact, I had a guest 2 weeks ago on the show that brought in a very interesting slant for me. And he did say, when I was asking him about this 2023 elections, the candidates and the markets, and he said something which struck me. He said, Nancy, the front runners, the 3 front runners are market-friendly front runners. And I said, oh, okay. I think that's true. So, but
I've made that point also to people that the 3 frontrunners, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, are all, the market would like them. Anyone that wins, the market would like them. Let me go further to say this, Nancy. Amongst the 3 of them, which one do you think, you don't have to answer, but let me talk to the audience. Which one do you think, if he's elected, the dollar price would fall because there's confidence in the Naira? There's just one guy that I think people believe, if he's elected today without any policy passed, the dollar is going to come down from, say, 715 all the way to 500 without any policy being passed. This is the thing. People get it. I think people have gotten it now that it's a direct connection between who is in Aso Rock and the amount of money in my pocket. That's the difference with this election. Do you want us to go into the specifics of all 3 of them now?
Yes. And Kalu, thank you for bringing that point, because if you take a look at even other elections that happened, we talked about Italy earlier on. You knew that the former ECB president, what's his name, Mario Draghi, was the prime minister of Italy. And you saw when he took over in Italy, Italy was really in an economic mess at that time. But when Mario Draghi came in, the markets quickly responded to Mario Draghi. Why? Because of the personality and all of that. I just brought in that at this point. So it's actually good that you brought that in so that Nigerians can relate that whosoever is occupying that Aso Rock, or whosoever those that will be campaigning, their personality would also be directly proportional to your pocket, or even to the food you eat in your mouth and the money in your pocket, so to speak. So thank you for bringing that. So it's not as if we're saying something very esoterical or very academical. No. Now that
is true.
Let's
that is very true. Now see, this is the difference, right? Draghi came in, he had a big reputation, but he left because he couldn't do the job. The same way Buhari came in, big reputation. Now he's leaving, the job hasn't been done on the economy, security, right? And what's the last one? Hasn't been done. If you look at Atiku, I mean, they've all been going to this Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry seminar. I've been tracking all of them because it's the same event, same organizer, same topic. So I've been looking at all 3 of them. Atiku has been there. I've seen what he said. I love it. 7 plans. My only problem with what he did, he didn't drill down. A lot of people was going to create 2 funds, one with 100 billion and all that. No drill down. Peter Obi has gone there. I liked what he said. Very smart. He was saying he was going to do the privatization. I was very intrigued when he said renewables. He was going to include renewables. I was like, why is he talking about renewables? The next day, I saw the EIB, the European International Bank Chairman, say Europe will not fund any gas project that does not have renewables. I said, aha, someone is thinking in that campaign. This is what we want to see. We want to see drill down. We want to see someone taking an issue and stripping it down to the bare minimums and telling Nigerians, day 1, day 2, day 3. Nigerians don't have time anymore. First 100 days, people don't want to see superlatives. People want to see direct benefits that I voted for you. I want to see benefits. People are going to be shocked. They're going to take your money and they're going to go vote someone else. And it's going to be a breakout vote. They're going to vote presidential here, Senate here, governor here. You're going to see it. People don't think people are not stupid. These kids are online. They're on social media. They get it. They go online. They see how the people live abroad. They see how they live here. And the difference is just these guys have a better leader. So we'll be shocked. That's what I'll say to people. I just hope it's going to be peaceful. And at the end, there's going to be a winner. Let me say this point. If Nigeria gets it right, elects a leader in 2023, everyone agrees that was the leader. The expectation of a good economy alone will fix most of what we're seeing in the exchange rates and inflation. Just the expectation. I know, Nancy, central banks track expectation. Consumer expectation is a thing. So this is what we're looking for. Someone that the mere personality of being elected will cause prices to fall, and that enthusiasm, that consumer expectation of good things will start to fix the economy. That's what we want to see.
So that's like really more body language.
That's what Nigerians call body language. We call it consumer expectations. And you know, Nancy, extract.
Yes,
Again, if someone is elected in June, we get an election in February. That person simply being elected, I'm saying it openly on TV, will cause the dollar to fall without passing any policy. The exact same way when Buhari was elected, power suddenly got better. People were waiting. Oh, body language, let's see what he's going to do. He did nothing. The same way, no MDA commissioner or chairman or CEO will spend money recklessly going forward without any policy being passed because there's a new sheriff in town. You know, it's the antecedent. I was very disappointed that the President Buhari didn't really go through with his should we say his brand. He let a lot of people down. You know, so now people are really going to watch and see what this guy is going to do or whoever guy is going to be elected. And 3 of them are going to come with promises. The problem that who will deliver. Nigerians have to get it right this time. The election today is all about today and tomorrow. You can vote for today and we do incremental change, or you can vote for tomorrow and we do a transformative change. We're not voting for new road or new airport. We are voting to rebuild a middle class that has disappeared because of the policies of the current ruling classes from 1999 to date. Keep that in mind.
Okay, let's try to zero down, especially since INEC released the political parties and, the timetable is out. In the next few years, the presidential campaigns will begin. Thank you, guys. At least that's the list there for you, for Nigerians to see. At least among these people, there will be the next leader, the next CEO for Nigeria. We've been able to compile the list so that it's not just about the first 3 or first 4. There are other people there. As you can see, there's Kola Abiola too, Abiola's son on that list. Ositan Nadi, APP, Yabagi Sani. You also have the YPP or Moyele Shawari and Co. There are many people on that list. But let's try to zero it down now, at least to what we've been hearing so far. And why in your own view, that the economy, or perhaps those three things will still be what will drive this next elections? Oh, Kalu, I'm having a brainwave now. Let me ask you this question, which is the aspect of corruption. Before this president came in, he was, there were so many expectations as to, oh, President Buhari would curb corruption. In fact, there was this thing about his body language that allegedly corrupt people went under. They started hiding because he will pursue them and all of that. But now, what many Nigerians are saying, in fact, someone told me that last week. He said, I beg, make corruption day, make everybody see chop. This president, that was what someone told me just on Saturday, and I cringed. I was like, really? Has it gotten to that level? The man no chase corruption, leave the corruption, make all of us the chop. Insecurity and make the economy day better. That was what the person was telling me literally on Saturday. So what do you think about that aspect of corruption?
Yeah, the problem isn't corruption, right? The problem is the malinvestment, the misallocation of resources. Nigeria has a spending problem. So when people say there's corruption, what's going on is that people take money and just waste it. Aja, for instance, it didn't die because of corruption. It's not because of corruption we have steel plants across the areas in Nigeria. We have one way up there that has no steel, no market. They have to take the steel from Delta all the way to Katsina. That's not corruption. It's just misallocation. So when Nigerians say corruption is the problem, they don't see the dividends of democracy. That's what's going on. If a president comes in today and can take the wasteful spending, we're spending 4 trillion on importing PMS. Right today, I read the report, 2.67 trillion. NNPC has not sent a kobo to FARC. This same country, food inflation is 23%. Should we subsidize petrol or should we subsidize food? This is the question. Imagine if you subsidize food and food prices were cheap, then inflation falls. Then Nigerians can start to have a pay hike, because cost of food is 67% of the budget. If you did just that one policy, you affect everybody. You fight inflation, you bring it down. You give everybody a pay hike because you've taken away their 67% of their budget. You create jobs, you create rural jobs. Just one policy. You haven't touched corruption, but everyone's income has gone up. So there's this lack of imagination. Whenever I hear someone say the problem is corruption, it's just a lack of imagination. No one is thinking of how to create a middle class. It's all, let's go fight it, let's go catch that one, let's go catch that guy. There's corruption in America. There's corruption in Brazil. They build planes. There's corruption in China, in India. They have bullet trains there. Why is our own corruption not working? This is what you have to ask. Why does our corruption not build roads? There's corruption in every country. They still build roads. They still have social security. Why doesn't ours do that? So it's more like an excuse for incompetence. We cover up incompetence by calling it he's corrupt. It's just incompetence. Get a good guy in there, the economy would boom. You wouldn't have to worry about chasing folks all down the place and all that. That's just my opinion.
Okay, let's talk about, we're talking about Atiku earlier on. For the purpose of this interview and time, at least in the next few days, we'll be listening to what other people will be saying. At least those are the 3 people that we've been hearing what they've been saying lately. If you take a look at Atiku, of course, he said he would do, I think, a $10 billion economic stimulus in the first 100 days and all of that. Let's zero in now. You also agreed with a guest of mine 2 or 3 weeks ago that said all 3 are market-friendly personalities. So what differentiates the 3? What differentiates Tinubu to an Atiku to Peter Obi, for example?
Atiku is talking about 2 funds. I think he's talking about the stimulus fund and 100 billion fund also. So there's one for first 100 days, 2 funds.
Yeah.
Again, specificity. Where will the funds come from? Will it be a tax hike? Will it be cutting spending to create that fund? We are not too clear on what he wants to do with that. We do know he wants to do a lot of private sector liberalization, to say he's going to take the government off the books, and then the private sector can come in and run the place. He started a lot in agriculture, in energy. So I get a general trend. I mean, this is the same thing he ran in 2015, and this is what he also always promoted even when it was a BP. I get where he's going to. He's going to be what we call a small government fiscal conservative. So reduce spending, allow the private sector to run, and then the government sort of regulates. That's what he wants to do. So he wants to run the country better, the way it's run today, but better. So we would have more of what we have with, say, the pensions, how the pensions is, where governments are regulated but private sector run. That model is basically what he wants to do. That's Atiku. So the fund is going to be stimulative, but again, we really can't drill down because he didn't tell us where he's going to get the fund from or how he's going to do it, right? So that's my only take on Atiku's presentation. But overall, he had 8 points there on his briefing with an LCCI. None of them struck me as bad. I supported all of them. Just I wanted more specifics on them. Yeah.
How important is this specifics, so Kalu? You know, I started my intro with it this morning as to the specificity of the promises of these front runners. I will really cringe and I will really be upset if these front runners come to the podium and start saying the same thing that I've been hearing since I was born. We are going to build roads. We are going to do this.
Yeah.
You've got to tell me the how.
You're very right. Nigerians don't relate promises to taxes. When the president says, I will do $1 to 1 naira, he's saying, I'm going to kill exports. That's what he's saying. The World Bank report just came out, it was last week, and they said Nigerian policies today are killing exports and stopping investment. What policy is that? The capital controls, the fixing of naira at 425, when the black market is 715. So same way with Atiku, Peter Obi, and Bola Tinubu, those statements have meaning. If you say, for instance, that I heard someone say reduce purchasing power, I saw the video. I'm chalking it off as he was misquoted, but I saw the video. That's a very dangerous way to say you want to reduce purchasing power, or we're going to stimulate agriculture so that the youth can have food to eat. I don't know if that's what the youth need in 2023. I think the youth in Nigeria are well-educated, self-taught, very aspirational. You've got to give them a policy that they can latch onto and run with, right? Way back, if you can remember, there was a war against indiscipline. It caught on in Nigeria. Nigerians pursued that war against discipline because Nigerians knew they were indisciplined. Right now, if you go and do a war against misinvesting, i.e. the wastage, Nigerians will grab onto it as well because Nigerians see waste everywhere. On my Twitter handle, I was just looking through the budget for 2022, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, waste everywhere. The salaries are 46% of the humanitarian organization. So we need specifics, right? Is it going to be a tax hike, or are you going to cut spending, or are you going to do your own report? What will you do to personal income taxes? Will corporate taxes come lower? Are we going to sign up with America as a minimum tax? Are we going to do that? What's going to be your policy on the exchange rate? Is it going to float? Is it going to fix? What will you do about NNPC Limited? Yeah. So I don't know if I can jump real quick into Peter Obi. He said, and this was a key point there, the refineries, the oil will be sold in naira, not dollars. And I think it was referring specifically to the Dangote refinery, and all this talk about he will buy it in naira or buy it in dollars. So very, very clear. We're clear on that. Bought in naira, not dollars, right? This is what I want to see, specificity, so we can then analyze it. None of them have an economic plan yet, Nancy. Yeah. None. They have circulars, they have policy statements, but an economic plan that drills down to say, this is what I'm going to spend, this is where I'm going to get the money from. Will you keep fuel subsidy? I want to hear the answer to that. Will you pay fuel subsidy? Yes or no? Then how would you fund that fuel subsidy? I want to hear the answer too. So specific.
Okay, Kalu, just as we end the program, let's talk about Tinubu. Tinubu, of course, just like you said, we've seen different promises, but we also need to drill down. His promise, I think, a double-digit GDP growth, I think about 12%. APC is of the view that he has financial mastery and what have you. Then the Peter Obi side is saying consumption to production, consumption to production. But how are you going to get that? How are you going to get more industries? How are you going to make Nigeria a business-friendly environment for people to open more factories, to employ people, to encourage human capital investment and what have you?
Yeah. Two different, very, very good contrast between the APC and the Labour Party. Bola Tinubu is a progressive. So he's a tax and spend politician. He's in Lagos State, that's what they did. They taxed, then they spent. So he depends on someone paying a tax to then spend on social services. So that's progressive, right? Left of center. The problem I see is that if you don't create wealth and you tax, then Nigeria becomes a Lagos where you have very, very, you have the VI, centers of excellence surrounded by slums, right? So the progressive agenda works when the economy is booming and you have people to tax. The Labour Party is going the other way. They are saying that you have to create wealth first, then you tax that wealth. So they're talking about cutting down the waste in terms of cutting down importation so that we produce locally. So that way you are saving forex, generating jobs and income. When you do that, then you tax. So two different agendas, tax and then spend, or create, then tax. So two different ways, progressive on this side, more or less supply side on economics on this side, left side, right side. That's how I see it. So Nigerians have to decide who they want to vote for. Do you want to pay more taxes and then see infrastructure? Or do you want a government that will essentially make you richer? Then you can pay for infrastructure. It's two different paths. Nigerians have to choose.
Let's talk about other presidential frontrunners too, so that we're not guilty of just looking at the top three or the top four, so to speak. You have all the parties, YPP, APGA, Boot Party, ADC, AA, Hope Democratic Party, ZLP, PRP, APP, which other one? AAC, ADP, and all of that. Yeah.
I hear you. I mean, it's an alphabet soup, right? It's alphabets everywhere. I think the other main candidate is Kwankwaso, and he is more or less of a progressive as well. Very, very strong dedication. So if he gets in, he's the guy that will also, he spends a lot on progressive causes, but it doesn't come to me as a taxing guy. He's not going to come and tax you to spend. He's more like, I get the money, I want to borrow, I would spend according to my needs. So that's how he approaches it. I'm not too clear on his trade and economic side of of the ticket, right? I just know how he's going to approach the governance instead of global spending. So if I wish he would have, for someone like him, he should have brought an economic plan way early to put the pressure on these frontrunners to also bring out their plans. Apart from him, the SDP guy is the Southwest, not too much about him, not about the party, but not about the candidate. Showore, we know what he is. He's a left-wing guy, right? So if he gets in lots of change, he will do a lot of change. But specifics, man, we need to hear him say, what will he do about the big issues? It all can't be, I'm going to fight. It has to be, this is what I will do with OPEC, this is what I will do with VAT, this is what I will do with taxation and all that. We need specifics. I think apart from that, even America has tons of presidential parties, but you only hear Democrats and Republicans. There's something called scale, right? So if you don't really have scale, I mean, someone has built a party in three months from where it was to where it is right now. So you've also got to get that skill. Without skill, nothing really going to happen. So that's how I'll leave it there.
Okay, finally, in just a minute, how critical will the debates be that we will see, at least in the next few weeks and in the next few months? I know the Nigerian Election Debate Group is planning stuff in the offing. The media will be agog with presidential campaigns. In fact, I wonder if my programs will be regular now, because once these campaigns begin, they will knock off regular programming. But of course, we'll be there. We'll be watching them to analyze what you are saying. So how critical will the debates be? Are we going to see the whole...
I think very critical, because that's what we're going to actually see the drill down. Because if they don't tell us, we're going to ask them. What I'm doing personally is to give Nigerians the information. If someone says something, I decode it and I analyze it and I say, this is what this means. So the more they talk, the more you understand what they want to say. They are guarding what they want to do to have close to their chest. So the debates are very important because number one, the candidates are saying, I respect the voters to go tell them what I will do for them. If a candidate does not go to debate this time, I wouldn't vote for him at all. In this election, you don't want to go and meet the voters and tell them what you would do to get their votes. That's just a red flag for me. I wouldn't even go near any candidate with debates. So debates are very, very important. Not just one of them. They should have a lot of debates. We should see them, talk to them, find out their views. How will you do what you want to do? What does production, what does consumption to production mean? What does you want to empower the youth with agriculture? What do all these things mean? That's what the debates allow us to see. Let me give you further words. Like, take the candidates and say, if I took this candidate away from this party and put him in this party, would I still vote for that candidate? So if I took this guy from this party and put him here, would I still vote for him? That's a good way to see if you are biased and just voting because of tribe and religion, or if you're really an issue-based voter. Are you voting for this guy because from this party or from this part of the country, right? Take that away from your mind. This is going to be transformative. There's floods happening right now in Nigeria, so food prices are going to go up. What is your solution? ASU is on strike. They're asking for money. You have to give them money. There has to be funding. Where will you get it from? How would you fund education?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. We want to see the basics. Tell us.
Okay.
So that's really what we want to see. Debates, Nancy, to answer your question, very important.
Okay.
Any candidate does not go for the debates this time, shouldn't get elected.
Thank you for bringing that point, because I remember that this same president did not appear for the debates. I moderated a few of those debates, the last, and he did not show face. So I'm also a campaigner here on the show. Everyone that is a front runner must come and debate. You will face Nigerians and you will definitely face the
No proxy, because we want to hear last election someone said things and then we said, oh, I didn't see it. So we don't want a proxy. Let the top of the tickets come and say, this is what I will do. So I will hold into account live.
Thank you.
Not a spokesman.
Thank you.
Top of the ticket. Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa, the largest population in Africa. We can't have an election where a guy just sits behind and people are talking and we're publishing statements. Come out and say, this is what I want to do for you. This is why I want your vote. It's Nigeria's turn.
Thank you.
That's what I'll say.
Yeah. Thank you, Kalu. Thank you, Kalu, for your insights this morning. And thank you. So you can go back to sleep now. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. I'll try.
I appreciate you. All right. That's the much you can take on today's edition of the program. Just a few as to when the presidential campaigns will start. We've laid the foundation for you, so you should ask the right questions at this time. I will see you all again tomorrow, Money Line with Nancy, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on African Independent Television. Be the best you can be, and be that change that you want to see. Bye now.